Are you from manual testing background and you want to take your career to the next level? That's where automation comes into the picture. That is test automation. Or even if you are a developer or manager and you want to know what all things involve as part of the test automation, so you will get that idea from this video. So let's see what is there in test automation as a career. So this is the test automation engineering career path. So as a part of testing career, you need to know some fundamentals of testing. Manual testing, what is it? Automation, we are going to talk various tools and technology as part of the automation. Performance testing, database testing, ETL testing, email testing, security testing. And I have included one more interesting topic, that is RPA, which is robotic process automation, which is used for business process automation. So as a testing career, I see that is another leap you can take as part of RPA, robotic process automation. So let's see what is there as part of the testing fundamentals. So in testing fundamentals, we will talk about testing strategy, testing types, software testing lifecycle, and project management tools. So testing strategy, we have white box testing, which is internal testing of your code. Then black box testing, which is external or behavioral testing of your software. And anything which fits between white and black box testing, that is called as gray box testing. In testing types, we have functional testing and non-functional testing. These two types are there. So in functional testing, we have unit testing, smoke testing, integration testing, regression testing, sanity testing, and user acceptance testing. In case of non-functional testing, we have a load testing, security testing, stress testing, and performance testing. So we will see what are the tools available for all these testing types. Let's move on to the next part, which is software testing lifecycle management tool. So we have Qtest, TestLink, Zypher, then TestRail. These are some of the tools which are used for software lifecycle management. But apart from that, if you want to do a project management activity, that's where Jira, and for documentation purpose, mostly we use Wiki or some SharePoint location. And apart from that, there are some cloud storage location also, which we use to store our documents. So this is all about testing fundamentals. Now let's see what is there as part of the manual testing. So in manual testing, we have a test-driven development, behavior-driven development, test planning. So that's where we create test cases and different scenario, reporting and compatibility check of the software. We do lots of verification and validation on the UI side. So those are some of the things we perform manually as part of our software testing. Let's see the next topic, which is very important, that is automation. So in automation, again, we have lots of things. So if you see here, first, we will talk about tools and languages which are required as part of automation career. So for code repository, mostly I have seen Git being used. For CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins is being used, right? And when it comes to the languages, at least you need to know core Java, Python basic, and C# basics, right? And in web development or web testing, you need to know at least HTML, CSS, and JavaScript basics, right? And when it comes to the database, you need to know SQL programming and at least one NoSQL database like MongoDB and Cassandra. So in database, again, we have Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, MS SQL. So as per your area of work, you need to understand at least one SQL database and SQL programming from development point of view. I mean, SQL queries. Coming to the next part, which is functional knowledge. One of the most beautiful thing being a tester is that you get very good understanding of functional area, business area of your project. And that's where, suppose you are doing testing in retail banking, investment banking, e-commerce, or any other domain. So as per that domain area, you can master that domain knowledge and you become subject matter expert in that area. Now coming to the next part, which is test automation test. So test framework driven testing, and what all the tools are there, let's see. So in testing framework driven technologies, we have Selenium. Cypress, Copyright, QA Wolf, WebDriver OI, Jasmine, Night Watch, Robot, Jest, Puppeteer. These are some of the framework which are very popular when it comes to the testing driven frameworks. So in Selenium again, I little bit dig up because Selenium is very much popular. So we in Selenium, so Selenium support JavaScript, Python, Ruby, Java, Kotlin, and C Sharp. Okay, if you see Cypress, which is again very popular, it is used in web application testing, supported by language JavaScript, WebScript, and TypeScript. And it is used in API testing as well. And let's see what is there in the Playwright is similar to Cypress, and it is developed by Microsoft. It is a Microsoft tool. Coming to the next part, which is very popular right now in the market, which is API testing. So you need to have some basic understanding of web services and how they work, right? And if you are working on technologies which are being used by Microsoft, that's where we have a SOAP UI, REST API, and you need to identify scope of API testing. So these are some of the things you need to take care while doing API testing. Now let's see what all things available, what all tools available to perform API testing. We have Catalan, Karate, REST Assured, APG, JMeter. Postman is a very useful tool when it comes to the API testing. So if you want to test things manually, so there is very good UI as part of the Postman, and you can submit request and you will get the result immediately as part of the Postman tool. But apart from that, these are other tools also available as part of API testing. So we saw Cypress IO, Robot, Code Caption. So these are some of the tools or technologies you can use for doing API testing. As part of web automation testing, you need to know HTML and CSS. Apart from that, we have a Selenium tool, which is very popular. And within Selenium, these are the framework, Proctator, Robot, Codeception, Nightwatch. Selenium less, you can go for Cypress.io, Puppeteer, and headless browser, we have PHP browser, Phantom.js, and Zombie.js. Okay. Nowadays, we see lots of applications being developed as part of the mobile applications. And let's see how we can do mobile application testing here. So as part of the mobile application testing, we need to know some mobile automation testing basics, then mobile platforms, in which platform we develop that application, and mobile testing lifecycle. And coming to the tools, there are various tools, and let's see what are those. So Appium is very popular tool when it comes to the mobile application testing. In Appium, it uses the Selenium's web driver, supports iOS, Android, and desktop apps. But apart from that, we have a Test Sigma, Headspin, Robotium, Slendroid, Espresso. So Espresso is used by Google for Android, and Cobiton, this is again very famous for mobile and IoT testing. Detox, Espresso, XUI test, then Macaca.js. So again for web testing, these are the framework, or Macaca.js is used. For performance testing, in case of mobile application, we have a JMeter and Gatling. Now moving to the next part, which is behavior-driven testing. So in behavior-driven testing, we have very popular tool, which is Cucumber. So using Cucumber, you can do that BDD testing. It is a part of acceptance testing. It allows for creating higher level specification or scenarios that can be run and tested. So that's where Cucumber is very famous for BDD kind of testing. Apart from that, there is very good tool right now in the market, which is Tosca. I haven't seen too many things related with Tosca, but it is being touted as very good tool. And in Tosca, it is actually collective tool. There you can perform all kinds of testing. So testing tool used for all common testing like web, API, security, performance, etc. Support CI/CD integration. And if you want to know more about Tosca, so please feel free to visit this particular website. So that is about test automation, and its career. Now moving to the next part, which is performance testing. So in performance testing, we have different types and various tools for performing performance testing. So when you talk about performance testing, it will be about load testing, stress testing, endurance testing, spikes testing, volume testing, scalability testing. And these are some of the tools which are used for those performances. Slow Load Ninja is the tool, Headspin is the tool, Blazemeter, HP Load Runner, JMeter I have seen being used extensively for DB testing and web application servers, Lighthouse, Catling, and web page test. So these are some of the tools which are being used for performance testing. So as part of the database testing, you need to know few things like SQL query language. And within SQL, again, you have DDL, DML, DCL, table constraint, views, function, triggers, indexes, joins. So you need to know all these data objects. And coming to the actual tools, we have benchmark, rider, DB stress, DB unit, JDBC ODBC driver. So using JDBC ODBC driver, you can write your own custom tool also. SolarWind database performance analyzer. So these are the tools which are available as part of the DB testing. There is one more important aspect when you go for the DB testing. You need to generate some data. When you don't have the actual data, right? You have to produce the large quantity of data, and that can be possible using this tool, data, PROF, generate data, IRI, Rogen, data benefactor, then mockru, GS data generator. So if you want to know more about data generation tools, so please feel free to visit this site. So that is all about database testing. So as part of ETL testing, you need to know some basic, and there are some prerequisites. And also we will see the tools which are being used for ETL testing. So when you go for the ETL testing, you need to know DB testing. Apart from that, you need to know some ETL basics. And also you need to have understanding of ETL tools like Informatica, SSIS, which is Microsoft product, and DataStage, IBM product, Pentaho, Tableau. Oracle has Oracle Data Integrator. So you need to know these things. So when you create a ETL, when you use the ETL pipeline, generally you schedule those data pipeline using some scheduling tool. So that's where you need to know AutoSys, Control-M, crontab, and Airflow, Uzi when you are working in big data product or CDP platform. So you need to know all these scheduling tools. And also you need to know some basic concept related with data warehouse. So that is some prerequisite when you go for the ETL testing. Now let's see what are the tools. So we have ICEDQ tool, then RDT, DataQ, Big Eval, Query Search, Informatica Data Validation, QLDI. So these are some of the tools which are used for ETL testing. Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is email testing. So when I was doing some deep research about testing technologies, and I found this interesting component, that is email testing. So there are specific component for email testing also. So that is Gmail tester and Mailinator. So these tools used for email data testing. Now coming to the next part, which is security testing. So that is again very important. So as part of test automation or even manual testing, you need to know how the secret is being managed within your project. Then there is a OWA SAP 10 Open Worldwide Application Security Project. So you can use it for your test security testing. Then attack vectors. So there are various types of attack could be possible in your software, in your application. So that's where attack vector is very important. Then there is a vulnerability. So your project or your product could be vulnerable for certain things. So there is a vulnerability scanning tool also available. And no doubt, authentication and authorization testing is integral part of security testing. So apart from all these testing things, I have included very interesting component here as part of automation, which is RPA, robotic process automation, which is mainly used for business process automation, right? So as a testing, manual testing career, if you have and you want to switch to something which is on the automation side, definitely you can consider RPA, robotic process automation. So again, there are various types of tools, and I have included comparison of those tools also. So let's see what are those tools. So we have UiPath, which is Microsoft product. Automation Anywhere, that is also again Microsoft product. Blue Prism is a Microsoft product. Then Keysight, Eggplant, Pega, and robot framework. These are some of the tools for RPA. So robot framework is open source project. Okay. Now coming to the comparison of this component. So when I was searching, I found these two sites very interesting as far as robotic RPA is concerned, robotic process automation. And there is very good screenshot here, which gives the comparison document here, where they have given the exact difference between different RPA projects. So out of that, Keysight, Eggplant, Blue Prism, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Pega. So their comparison is available. So if you want to see, just pause the screen and just see the comparison of all these APM tools. So this is overall path of your test automation engineering journey. So please put in the comment section what type of testing and what type of tools for that respective testing you are planning to use in your project. Okay, thank you for listening.